Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today to discuss the South Elm Street Culvert Replacement Project. We'll be talking about the design this afternoon, some of the reasons for the project, as well as the potential schedule. So, brief description of the project area. We are looking at Elm Street, the system that runs from 4th Street down to the Tar River, find the outfalls at the Tar River. The drainage area for the system is approximately 58 acres, and it's approximately 45% impervious. So almost half of the ground cover in that drainage area is impervious, meaning the water can't be absorbed back into the ground. The area is mostly comprised of single-family and multifamily structures. So why South Elm? Why do we prioritize this project over other projects? As you may be aware, the city has completed watershed master planning throughout its jurisdiction. There are in total 7 watershed master plans that are linked on the city's website, if you'd like to take a look at them. South Elm Street resides in the Schoolhouse Branch Harris Mill Run watershed master plan. This project was identified through intense public outreach as well as city input. There are existing flooding conditions along 1st Street as well as aging and undersized infrastructure. So I spoke a little bit about flooding. These are some pictures of the most recent flooding that we see along 1st Street, along some of the multifamily apartments. It impacts their driveways, as well as the drivability of the roads. It also impacts the greenway. We have flooding that comes from the Tar River as water backs up the system. And we also have flooding that comes from the rain that falls on the ground and the inability of it to get into the drainage system because it's undersized and there's not enough catch basins. In regards to aging infrastructure, we've had numerous pipe failures along this trunk line to the point that it has impacted the roadway at the north end of Elm Street, as well as through the park area and the greenway and the outfall into the Tar River. We have numerous utility conflicts along the way, which interfere with the ability of the pipe to convey the stormwater to the river. As well as mixed materials. And on the surface, that may not seem like a problem, but when you mix both concrete pipe with metal pipe, sometimes you get issues where the pipes connect to the boxes or to each other, which in turn causes sinkholes. So at this point, I'm going to turn over the presentation to the city's consultant, Mark Horseman with W.K. Dixon, and he's going to go through some of the design pieces of the project.
Thank you, Lisa. We appreciate this opportunity to discuss the project objectives of the South Elm Street Drainage Improvement Project. As Lisa previously mentioned, this system does flood quite a bit. And one of the major objectives is to reduce the flooding duration and frequency along the north end of Elm Street. Currently, the models predict that this system won't even pass what we call a 2-year storm event. The city standard is to pass a 10-year storm event or provide a 10-year level of service, which of course means a 10% annual chance event, meaning in a year, in an annual rainfall, 10% of the storms would exceed, or we would be able to pass 90% of the storms. So in order to provide that 10-year storm event level of service, we need to upsize the existing pipe system. Currently, the main stem along South Elm Street is a 30-inch corrugated metal pipe and a 36-inch, about a 3-foot diameter corrugated metal pipe. We need to upsize that to about a 54-inch diameter pipe. The second of the project objectives is to also divert flow from private property to the city's right-of-way along a section of the main drainage. It goes through the the district at Tar River apartment complex. So we're pushing city and public runoff through private property. In order to enhance maintenance in the future, we want to shift that runoff into city right-of-way. And the third component is stabilizing the outfall that Lisa has previously mentioned, got eroded over time through all of the significant sinkholes. As I just mentioned, again, one of the project objectives was to reroute the flow, the city flow into city right-of-way. And so we're going to divert, starting on 3rd Street, some of the flow that is currently going through the district of Tar River Apartments, and send that down 3rd Street and north on South Elm Street, and also connected to the system on East 1st Street. We're also doing some work on Warren Street and connecting that to the system on 1st Street to provide this reroute. Here are some pictures of the current outfall that is a result of a temporary repair due to the pipe failure at this location. Our proposed plan is to enhance this outfall by opening it up, creating more capacity to drain the storm drainage system on South Elm Street and tie that into the Tar River. One of the aspects that we're looking into for this project is try to incorporate more green infrastructure to enhance the overall water quality of runoff coming from South Elm Street to the Tar River. We have applied for an environmental enhancement grant to hopefully get additional funds to create a stream wetland system that will treat the runoff coming from the South Elm Street drainage system. It will run through the stream wetland to filter it, and then ultimately clean the water going to the Tar River. This design can have multiple benefits in addition to water quality, such as providing environmental educational opportunities and enhancing greenway trails and nature outreach programs. Since we will be doing work in the road, there will be, of course, minor traffic impacts resulting from short sections of the road being closed at a time as the contractor removes the existing pipe and puts in new pipe, and also works through utility conflicts installing the new pipe. Well, we will note that there's a lot of driveway accesses on South Elm Street that may be impacted temporarily as we install the storm drainage pipe system. During construction, we'll work with individual property owners to alert when their driveways may be impacted, and it is the contractor's responsibility to maintain access to the maximum extent practical to all properties. In addition to traffic impacts, there might be some utility impacts as we are replacing some of the water, sewer, and electrical lines working our way up the street. However, some of these utility impacts will be during a short duration, and we'll work with any particular property owners that will have impacts to their utilities. One of the big impacts is there's a lot of overhead power lines located along South Elm Street, 3rd Street, and 4th Street that will need to be, the power poles will need to be relocated or shifted outside of the main areas of impact. So that's something that you can see that shifting and relocation might occur prior to the main construction, so we can go ahead and get some of these utilities out of the way during the construction process. In looking at the overall schedule, this project started in fall of 2019 with the team going out and doing topographic surveys and surveys of the underground utilities so we can understand what the current situation is today and have that blended into our design. We are in the process of completing the stormwater analysis and design, where we expect to be completed with the final design by the end of the fall of this year. Coming into the winter of this year, or by the end of the year, we expect to have all the permits acquired and the bid package ready to go to construction. Should you have any questions, please feel free to contact the Department of Engineering for the City of Greenville. You can also go to the project website, which is located on this slide. The link is on the slide, and the project email as shown in the slide as well. Thank you.